Today, we're diving into an invention that's so often overlooked, but it's literally the technology that let humanity build the world we know today. And no, it's not the wheel and it's not fire. It's something way, way simpler. So, let me ask you, what's the single most important invention in all of human history? I mean, your mind probably jumps straight to things like the printing press or the internet, maybe even the wheel. But what if the real answer was so much older and way more fundamental?
Believe it or not, the invention that laid the groundwork for, well, everything is the polished stone tool. And as you're about to see, this wasn't just about making a better tool. It was a complete revolution in how humans thought about and literally shaped their world.
So what was it about the simple act of polishing a stone that made it so revolutionary? Well, to get it, we have to look at how the world itself was changing, basically forcing humanity to innovate or get left behind.
It really all started with the climate. See, as the last ice age finally came to an end, the world got warmer. Forests started spreading everywhere, and those huge animals our ancestors loved to hunt, well, they started to disappear. Humans had to adapt, and fast. They shifted their diets to rely way more on plants and grains, and that required a completely different set of tools.
And this slide really gets to the heart of the matter. It shows this huge shift in philosophy. For thousands and thousands of years, making a tool was all about breaking it. You'd use a stone's natural brittleness, what's called zaise here, to just chip off sharp flakes. But polishing was the complete opposite. It was about shaping. You worked with the stone's density, or chimitsu, patiently grinding it down to create an edge that wasn't just sharp, but was also incredibly strong and durable.
And you know, this didn't happen overnight. Not at all. This was a long, slow-burn innovation. The very first hints of polishing show up around 20,000 years ago, but it took thousands of years for the techniques to really mature into the powerful tools that would go on to define the entire Neolithic era.
The process itself got incredibly sophisticated. I mean, this was a meticulous, multi-step craft. You'd start with rough chipping, or daisei, and go all the way to the final finishing polish, shiage. This was the high-tech of its day, okay? It required immense patience, a ton of skill, and a really deep understanding of the materials you were working with.
Okay, so armed with this amazing new toolkit, what problems could humanity finally solve? Turns out these tools tackled the most fundamental challenges of survival: having a safe place to live and getting enough food to eat.
First up, shelter. If you're a nomadic hunter-gatherer, a temporary cave or a simple hut is fine. But if you want to build a settled community, you need something permanent. The big problem was that chopping down trees and shaping wood with those old, brittle, chipped tools was just incredibly difficult and super inefficient.
But the polished stone axe? That changed everything. Just think about this for a second. Modern experiments have shown that chopping down a 20-centimeter thick tree went from being a half-day ordeal with a chipped tool to taking just about 1 hour with a polished axe. That's not just an improvement, that is a total game changer. With this newfound power to shape the forest, humans could build like never before. They started constructing sturdy, semi-subterranean homes, developing complex wood joinery, and even building defensive walls to protect their new villages. For the first time, humanity could truly build a permanent home. All right, so the next huge challenge was food. The agricultural revolution was just getting started, but to plant crops on a massive scale, you first had to clear the land, and that meant chopping down forests on a scale that was pretty much unimaginable before. Polished stone tools were basically the engine of this whole agricultural revolution. The polished axe, or sekifu, cleared the forests. Then you had specialized stone spades, or sekisan, to till the soil. And finally, sharp stone sickles made harvesting grain incredibly efficient. This toolkit turned farming from a small side gig into a reliable source of mass food production. And the technology also revolutionized how they processed food. These milling stones, or ishiuzu, allowed people to grind up tough grains into flour. Now, this was a critical step. It made the food way easier to digest, especially for kids and the elderly, and it unlocked so many more nutrients. It wasn't just about producing more food. It was about getting more life, more energy from the food they already had. So you've got better tools for building homes and better tools for producing food. This combination created a ripple effect that would fundamentally restructure human society, right from the ground up. And this is where the truly incredible domino effect begins. First, you get an agricultural surplus. For the first time ever, humanity had more food than it needed just to survive from one day to the next.
That surplus meant people could finally settle down in permanent villages. With better, more reliable food, the population boomed. And here's the crucial part. With a surplus, not everyone had to be a farmer anymore.
This led directly to the specialization of labor. All of a sudden, you have dedicated toolmakers, you have religious leaders, and you have political leaders who are in charge of managing the community's resources. Society began to split up into different roles and, for the first time, social classes.
And with social classes came something else: social inequality. This isn't just a theory either. We can literally see it in the archaeological record. You start to see these lavish tombs filled with beautiful, polished jade objects right next to simple graves with almost nothing in them. The first clear evidence of private property and a real gap between the rich and the poor.
The food surplus didn't just create classes, it created entire economies. Valuable goods, like really high-quality stone for making tools, were being traded over huge distances. For example, some of the jade used by the Longzhou culture in China was sourced from over 200 kilometers away. This was the birth of long-distance trade.
So let's bring all this together. It's so easy to look at a simple stone tool and just dismiss it as primitive, but its legacy is nothing less than the very foundation of our modern world.
I mean, really think about it. The idea of having a permanent home, of having a specialized job that isn't just about finding your next meal, of being part of an economy that connects you with people hundreds of miles away. Every single one of these cornerstones of modern life began with the simple, revolutionary act of polishing a stone.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What seemingly simple innovation that's happening right now might be setting off its own quiet chain reaction? One that's going to reshape our world in ways we can't even begin to imagine. That, right there, is the enduring power of a quiet revolution.